Hello everyone, and welcome to my first edition of What Did I Make This Week? I thought it would be fun to show you all what I've made over the past week. Some weeks I make a lot, other weeks I hardly make anything, or I create a lot of works in progress. This week I was fairly productive. While it's not too much to show you, I do feel like I cleaned up some whips, some works that I had been working on and just set aside. I made some new things. I made a tutorial. All in all, it was a good week. So I have a stack of all of my stuff right here. We're going to go through it. If I have a pattern or link to where I found the pattern for each of these, I will put it down below. Some are my own patterns. Some I got off the internet. Some are from, I think one might be from an actual physical book. So I can show you that when we get to that project. And it's kind of fun to see what other people are making and might give you some ideas. And it'll show you where you can find the pattern or the tutorial if you're interested in making one of these items yourself. The first thing that I worked on and finished was the Gentle Waves scarf. So this is just a really nice long scarf. I used a Karen cake for this. It was in the colorway Cake Pop. And it's just a really nice looking stitch. Perfect for scarves. And I just put the tutorial out for this one a few days ago now. So I will link that down below. But it works up really easy. It's really quick. I used a 6mm, I think. I used a large hook for this yarn. And again, it worked up really quick. You've got those nice, big, definitive stitches. And it's so warm and cozy. So I love this pattern for scarves. And again, you can use any size hook, any size yarn that you have available. For the tutorial, if you do use a smaller weight yarn or a smaller hook, yours obviously is going to be a little bit smaller, so just keep that in mind. But it's a really fun, easy, quick pattern, and it uses up a whole cake of yarn. I think that cake was just over 600 yards, so it does use up a lot of yarn, but I did get a very lengthy scarf out of that one cake. Next up, I made an Adventure Time hat, little beanie for my daughter, who I think is going as Finn or Jake, or it's from Adventure Time. That's all I know. There's a character that wears a little beanie like this, and they have this little, I don't know, things at the top. Came out really cute though. And this was super quick. I made this in one night. I think I finished it up the next morning, because I wanted to make sure that I added these separate pieces. I had to stuff them. You make the little shape of them, and then you stuff them, and then you have to hand sew them to the hat where you want them. So I wanted to make sure that I put them in the right place, because I'm not familiar with this cartoon at all. So once I got that the next morning, figured that out, sewed those on, and did the little braids at the end. Super easy, quick tutorial. I will link that down below, because I know I found that on YouTube as a tutorial, and I use that, and it was pretty good for the most part. If you're new to crochet, there's some parts that I feel like were skipped a little bit, but if you're an intermediate or an expert at crochet, you can kind of figure out where the pattern is going. So that was another project that I made this week. Next up, I tried my hand at some Ami. Now, I am not very good at Ami. I just don't do it very much, but I love it. I love how it looks. I wish I had more time to practice it and get better at it, but I'm getting there. I'm working on it. I tried my hand at a bee. Okay, the bee is fine itself. I don't even know which way it goes. I think it goes like this. However, when I went to go put the wings on, I think the pattern said to hand sew them on. And I was like, yeah, I don't want to do that. I want this to be kind of a no-sew. So I sort of surface crocheted them on, like slip stitched, I think. However, I placed them so far apart. So I don't know what I was doing. I think I was just so unsure. But he's kind of cute, right? He's kind of cute. He's a little weird looking. So I'm going to keep this one as a reminder of one of my first Ami that I made. I used a soft, like plushy yarn, usually the yarn that I use for scrunchies or something, and it's super soft, and he is kind of cute, and I hope I can kind of perfect the little bees because they're super adorable, and I would love to make keychains out of them as gifts or for whatever purpose. I don't know. They're just kind of cute. But this one was a partial fail, and that's probably on me because I didn't hand sew the little wings where they should have gone, which is probably right up here at the top. So I tried another one, and I tried to make a zombie bee because, of course, it's Halloween. We're getting there. We're getting to Halloween. And this one is cute. I used a velvet yarn. I only have the black safety eyes, and so you can't really see his eyes very well. But again, he's really soft, and I did hand sew the wings at the top, and I think that's much better. I do not think I stuffed him enough because there's some, I don't know. He's not stuffed right. Either that or the velvet yarn just is not shaping up the same way as sort of the plush yarn, because this one looks much more like a bee, a bullet bee, or whatever you call these things. And this one's a little bit more, he's not quite that, but he's still cute. I still really like him. So I've got 2 bees. Those are my first attempts at Ami. I'd say they're decent. They're pretty good. I then decided to make something a little bit more involved, but not too hard. So we went with the jellyfish. I added the keychain to this one, just like that. This guy, I think, came out adorable. We've got a nice little smile, and I had to embroider the little smile on. Not as hard as I was thinking it was going to be. And all of these legs, or tentacles, or whatever you call them, are made separately, and then you put them in the bottom of his little body. Really not a complicated pattern. It worked up fairly quickly. It took me one night to make, and it probably would not take me that long if I make him again, which I probably will. This pattern is from Whimsical Stitches by Lauren Espy. I've had this book forever, and you can see that guy right up there. She has a lot of fantastic, kind of cool little creatures and things as far as Ami goes. So I've had this book for quite a while. This is the first thing I've made from it, and I'm super happy with it. I got this book so I can make some turtles. Have not done the turtle yet, but that is going to be next. And these bees, by the way, are just an online, might have been a YouTube video. I think I still have it. I will link it down below if I do have the bee tutorial. And the jellyfish you can find in this book. I did do one more Ami type thing, a giant snake. I used Bernat blanket for this one, and it made quite a big snake. I used 2 balls of the Bernat blanket yarn. I just love the color, and it reminds me of a snake. So he came out super cute. His face is a little bit not as pointy or scrunched as I would like. And I used smaller safety eyes than maybe I should have, but I feel like snakes have small, like beady eyes. I don't know. I probably could have gotten away with using a bigger size safety eye in there. It's okay. This guy is super cute. I stuffed him really well. He's nice and long, and he's super soft. So I was super happy with this one. I made another snake a few months ago just with regular acrylic yarn for my daughter's boyfriend, That came out super cute, and I wanted to make the same snake pattern, but I wanted to make it much larger. So I used the blanket yarn and a much larger size hook, and I got this big guy. So happy with that one. So that is all of my Ami that I've made, and I can see why some people just love it, because it's fun and you get a little plushie, or you get something that you can give a kid or sell at a market or turn into keychains or whatever it is that you need. There's so many opportunities for crocheting cute Ami out there. I cannot wait to try a little more, find some more complicated patterns and animals and things that I want to make, and see how that goes. I have 2 more things that I crocheted, so actually I did pretty well this week. This basket I finished just the other day. It is a granny square base basket, so you just make a granny square at the bottom and then you work up the sides. I have a tutorial for this. This is my own pattern. When I got to the handle of this one, I decided to do it on the corners. So if I can hold this up correctly, it goes from corner to corner instead of mid-side to opposite mid-side, just to make it a little different. It kind of makes it hang and shape a little differently, not in a bad way, but just different. So this one I finished. I had actually started this one back in August when I was doing my how much yarn, how many project video, and I injured my thumb. I couldn't crochet. I could not finish this basket, especially since baskets are 3 strands held together with a big hook and the tension is a little bit tighter. I didn't want to further injure myself, so I had this on hold for a while. I'm all healed up now, so I got to finish it. So this is just a scrappy basket, but it's super easy, and I will link that pattern in that video tutorial down below. And finally, this one I also was working on in that same how much yarn, how much can you make video. I was thinking this was going to be an ear warmer. No. I tried to finish that up last night and it just did not work. So this turned into a very large, slouchy knitted hat. This is, again, 2 strands of yarn held together. One is like a bulky 5-weight, which is that light pink. And then the blue and the dark pink that run through it is a thin self-striping yarn. And so it came up with a really cool sort of pattern as I worked. It's almost like a Fair Isle kind of look to it. So I actually really like how it came out. I'm not sure if it works as a very long slouchy beanie. We'll find out. You've got enough length, obviously, to roll it up a little bit, and then it kind of slouches. Let's see. I don't know if you can see that from behind, but it does have a nice slouch. So I think it's kind of cool, actually. It worked out better than I could have thought. When I tried to turn it into a twisted head warmer, it was too thick. Just all of that bulky yarn in one spot as you're trying to sew up the 2 ends. It wasn't going to work. It was too thick. It looked good, but it was just too thick. So, plan B, extra slouchy knit hat. I added the little pom-pom at the end. And there we go. Those are all of the projects that I made this week. If you like this video, please subscribe if you're not already. Like the video, share it with your friends. Try out some of these patterns for yourself. Let me know what you think. And until next time, happy knitting and happy crocheting, everyone. And happy Ami making. I'll see you in my next video. Bye.